Welcome to The Voiceover with your host, D. Foster III, where we discuss relevant topics that affect the culture with bold, independent commentary. Get ready to be inspired, enlightened, and encouraged.
It's Friday somewhere, and welcome to the Voice Over Now podcast. I'm your host, D. Foster III, CEO and President of Wake Up Global Networks International. You know what to do at the beginning. Like, share, subscribe, follow, hit that notification bell. We gonna get into some things. Listen, I want to say happy Friday to you. I hope you had a fantastic week. It is the end of March. It is time for spring. Spring is tripping. Spring ain't sprung quite yet, being 30 this week, but that's okay. The best is ahead of us. The cherry blossoms, I think the cherry blossoms, I don't mean to disappoint anybody, are gonna be dead on the vine as cold as it is. But you can go out there and try. I'm not going out there because I understand DC, and I understand that those blossoms are probably not going to blossom like we expect, but still go out there and let me know. Listen, at the beginning, I want you to go to the website and look at all that we're doing and know more. If you want to know more about us, it's www.wakeupglobalnetworks.com, www.wakeupglobalnetworks.com, or you can follow us on our social media pages. Those pages are at the bottom of the screen. I want to say a shout out to April J., the owner and CEO of WPB Media Networks. We want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. We can never thank her enough for giving us a platform to express our voice. That's why I always encourage you. You should like this. You should push that notification bell. If you love conscious content, education, of course, entertainment, information, this is the network. Ain't nobody got time for all of that. Well, to each his own. But for me, I want conscious content. Yes, we want to have fun. Yes, we want to be informed. Yes, we want to laugh, but we want to learn, we want to grow, and we want to develop. And this is the platform for that. Or if you simply want to advertise your business, this is also a platform. You can reach out. That's WPBMediaNetworks.com. WPBMediaNetworks.com. I am so excited. We're going to get into some things. We're going to wrap some things up. But listen, I want to ask you, I ask you this every week, and this is for the first time viewers. Have you on Sunday morning at 7 o'clock been positioned to be encouraged for the week by watching the Voice of Hope Connection? Yeah, right on this channel every Sunday morning. We bring you a word to get you through the week. We always say we don't know what the week is going to bring, but we do know one thing, that there is a word to get us through. And if you say, well, I'm in church, or I'm still asleep, or I'm still getting home from, the night before, that's all right. You can be a part of the glorious replay crew and download it at your convenience, like you can this podcast, which uploads live every Friday. I want to say, like it. I'm still not satisfied about how we are being liked as a network. Listen, the algorithms is a game. And we've been talking about that a little bit in our lessons in power. The algorithms is a game. And so I need you to press the like. And what that does is not just say you like the show, but it puts this network further up in the algorithms. So it lets YouTube know, oh, people want more content like this. So that's the algorithm game, right? I think sometimes we need to stop and explain the game, because there are rules to the game. That's what I'm going to talk about as I summarize and wrap up and finalize lessons in power. Today, I'm just going to give you my summary. Today, I'm going to give you a brief over. I don't know where this is going to end. Like, subscribe, share, follow. I just want to remind you before we get into this, join me on this network live. Join me on this network on Resurrection Sunday, April the 20th, high noon in the afternoon. We're going to be discussing the subject of resurrection realities and resurrection fallacies. You say, D. Foster 3, what is that? You're going to have to tune in. You don't want to miss it. There are resurrection realities, but then there are resurrection fallacies. And we're going to be talking about it on Resurrection Sunday, right here on WPB Media at 12 noon Put it in your calendar. Like, subscribe, make sure you invite people. It is going to be interesting, educational, and it is going to be fun. Now, Lessons in Power summary. I'm not going to go back for time's sake. I'm not going to go back, but this is going to be the last podcast that I do on, unless something materializes. I'm always looking and got my ear to the grind and my eye to the culture. I'm always looking and listening for what's going on in the culture to bring those object lessons back to our audience, because we are an intelligent thinking group of people, and let me say this, please let me say this. The QR code is on the screen. If you are being enlightened and blessed by this podcast, we put a lot of work, a lot of energy, and a lot of resources into this. I don't knock it. See, I don't play a video and then just turn it off for a minute and give you my thought. That's fine. People who do that, some people have that calling. But we create our own content. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of study. And I mix my unique gift, because of who I am, spiritual principles into it. So I'm not just giving you what's going on in the culture and my thoughts. I'm tying it into the spiritual realities that control and determine where and how we end up in life. So we put a lot of work. This is not just me talking. I don't need this just to talk. I talk for a living. I talk a lot. But this is to bring spiritual principles in a unique and creative way to make sure that we are making the best decisions as a class of people, as a group of people, as a culture of people, and that we're ending up in our God-given destiny. There you have it. So I said all that to say, if you feel generous, I would encourage you to sow a seed. No seed is too small. No seed is too big, of course, into Wake Up Global Networks International Incorporated. We've been talking about lessons in power because, listen, I know people say, oh, I don't play games. Oh, if you are engaged, you may not call it a game. You may not think it's a game, but if you interacting, if you are competing, if you have desires, if you have aspirations, if you are building anything, listen, I'm sorry to bust your bubble, but you are in playing a game. And the problem with people who say that is why they lose the game, because they don't understand that it is a game. And like Drake, maybe they don't understand, it is a power game. Now, I'm not going to go back over what I've been talking about and what we've been discussing, but I want to say thank you for your comments. Thank you for sharing this. Over the last 5 weeks, we talked about Drake, and basically, without going back over, Drake's failure to understand that there are rules to the game. That's what this is titled, the subtitle. There are rules to the game. Now, we talked about the case of XXXTentacion. That's where we begin this, and said that it was alleged years ago when X was murdered that Drake had something to do with it. Well, Drake was kind of eliminated from the witness list, and it's alleged that was because back then, watch this, he had favor and he was well connected with Universal Music Group and Lucian Grainge. And we talked all about that, because today I'm going to sum this up and say the problem that I see here, follow me, is that Drake really never understood his favor. Drake misinterpreted the fact that he had influence was he had power, but Drake doesn't have power. And the proof of that is that since Drake has filed a lawsuit against his own label, what disloyalty. See, today is my last shot at it, so I can't cut no corners with this. Drake doesn't understand the rules of the game. First of all, now, there are many ways you can take this, and there are many podcasters who are discussing this, but I think my way is unique because I'm going to bring some spiritual principles into this. The first thing that Drake had to understand, and that there are many people that are saying Drake sued his label because of Not Like Us, that Drake simply is a sore loser, as he claims to be unbothered, but he files a lawsuit because of a lost rap beef that he initiated and he started. Now, again, this is what Universal's response to Drake's lawsuit is, that basically Drake is just a sore loser and he lost to Kendrick. Everything was okay before then. And so he accuses Universal of bots, of amping people, excuse me, under the table to play Not Like Us. He sued Spotify and iHeart and settled with them. And now he's got a suit. Now, he didn't name Kendrick in the suit. He named Universal in the suit. And Lucian Grange, as we said last week and been saying for the last couple of weeks, his baby daddy, according to Kanye West. In other words, he could get anything he wanted. Drake could get anything he wanted. He had a $500 million contract. Now, having said that, follow me. There are a lot of people who are saying that Drake is doing this suit because he's in a 360 deal. And I don't have time to go into a 360 deal, but that means that the company gets everything, a part of everything Drake has. His endorsements, his commercials, his merch, that a 360 deal, his streams. And some people say Drake wants out of the deal, but here's a lesson in power. Listen, it's easier to get into a thing than it is to get out. And people of mastery understand that there is nothing for nothing in life, that nothing is free. What do you think, Drake? They're going to pay you $500 million for nothing just because you're very talented and you're very vocal and you're very lyrical, and we're just going to throw a hat, probably one of the biggest signing bonuses in history, and we're not going to require half of your life? Come on. See, here's the problem again. I know I'm talking fast, but like, but share, subscribe, follow. The problem is that there used to be rules to the game, and who used to help us understand the rules were the mentors, were the godfathers. But because there are no mentors and people just willingly, out of desperation, launch themselves into the game, whatever the game is, not knowing the rules. Here's a law of power. You have to have somebody in every arena to initiate you, and yes, I said initiate, into the laws of the game that you're entering into if you are going to be successful. That's one thing I love and I miss about my late big brother, Coach James Butch McAdams. He was my godfather when it came to radio and how to MC and how to announce and what to do and what not to do. See, he initiated me. He said, this will hurt you in radio. Don't say this. Don't respond to this. Don't attack this. Don't address that. That's what's missing in the game today. So obviously, I don't know who initiated Drake into the game, but if Drake is getting a $500 million, somewhere between $4 and $5 $1 million contract, then that means for a $500 million contract, that means that there's some expectation of Drake. And part of that expectation is, Drake, we own everything, a part of everything we do, because a 360 is for artists who are just getting signed. They don't have no money. So it's a good in the beginning because it gives you a good head start. But as you grow and as you get popular, then you forget from whence you came, and now you want to be free. And being free is not as easy as being yoked. Let me say that again. Being free, getting free, does not come as easy as being yoked. See, it's easy to get into anything, Drake, out of desperation. But then it is much more difficult. It may take a suit to get out of it. All right. So Universal responds, and you can go back and watch my prior videos on this. I'm just doing a summary today. This is going to be it unless something else major develops, because I'm over it, right? Drake is probably not going to win. Drake's career is going down. He has had to cancel concerts. I mean, he's come whining. They calling him Karen because he just the hip hop Karen because he's just whining about everything. And there's been rap battles for years. That's the nature of the game. You understand? He's from Canada, but that's the nature of the game. I call you names, you call me names. Matter of fact, Drake got the nerve to sue because he says one of the things that Universal allowed was in Not Like Us, that Kendrick alleged that Drake was a PDF file. And he says because of that a false allegation that it has hurt his brand and his reputation. But wait a minute. I'm trying to think, was it like the Grams or something like that? You allege that Kendrick was an abuser and that Kendrick's child was by another man, but you dished it out, but you can't take it, so you sue. You don't know the rules of the game. You got to know, Drake. That's power. You don't ever. Come here, y'all. Like, share, subscribe. Don't ever enter into anything and you don't understand how it works. Don't ever enter anything out of desperation and you don't understand how it works, because now Drake, in my opinion, has lost favor with Lucian Gray. Drake had the nerve to publish a picture of Lionel Richie's daughter, who is Lucian Grange's daughter-in-law, and married to Lucian's son, as if, and this is as if to say that we was an item. Drake, that's almost as bad as XXX saying that your mother could get it. I mean, you really crossed the line. You really post this man's daughter on social media as to allocate or insinuate that y'all had been together. Drake, there are rules to the game. And brother, you're breaking all the rules. So perhaps you're done. So now here's what I wanted to get to. So Universal has been covering Drake. Drake has been Universal's golden child. Even when this brat beef started last summer between Kendrick and Drake, Kendrick was the underdog. You didn't hear much about Kendrick, but through his song and through his Super Bowl appearance, Kendrick has become the superhero of Universal Music. And I'm sure Drake is a little jealous of that, right? But anyway, so they had been covering Drake, even with allegedly this XXXTentacion 2018 trial, where Drake was eliminated from the witness list all of the sudden. But now, since there's been an appeal in the trial, as I said last week, ironically, right after Drake filed the suit, there is an appeal and Drake's name surfaces again. So you got to understand that Drake doesn't understand the rules to the game. When your dirt, when your stuff is covered, how dare you try to uncover those who have covered you, because they are sitting on more stuff than you. See, Drake, you don't know the rules of the game. You should have came and been a part one of my consultations, and I could have taught you, even in the music industry, you don't play those kind of games. As Diddy, when he tried to sue his liquor company. Where is Diddy? See, let me say something right now. When people invest in you, most of the time, people invest in you for a reason, for a intended outcome. And people have information. And 9 out of 10, if you are listen, this is powerful. When you are profitable, they will sit on that information so that you can continue to bring them profit. Now, they can't sit on your information and then, Drake, you turn around and try to uncover their information. They say, okay, who got the biggest? Let's get into this wagon contest. Like this, share this. And it looks like Drake was swinging his back and forth. I'm going to sue. Y'all been paying bots. Y'all been paying streams. Y'all been controlling the algorithms for Not Like Us. And then Universal pulls theirs out and wham. And says, what about Drake's possible involvement in XXX Tentacion's murder? Because one of the victims cried that Drake may have paid to have, allegedly, X unalive. So you want to wag? Let's wag that. Now, I don't know where that appeal is gone, but that has been a recent appeal. And I use this as an object lesson to talk for the last several weeks that was a bad power move for Drake. Did Drake really believe that this multi-billion-dollar international corporation, Universal Music, was going to allow this peon, as big as he is, to take them to court and sue successfully if we got to find or dig up a scandal? Because listen, like this, share this. There were rumors going around before this that Drake liked younger girls. You remember that issue when Drake was on the stage and started being googly-eyed and smiling and laughing and then hugged the girl, and then he said, wait a minute, let me ask how old you are. And when the girl said the age, he said, oh, get off. You're about to get me in trouble. Well, there had been rumors for years that Drake likes them a little younger. But of course, if Drake, listen to this is laws of power. This is lessons in power. If Drake is making Universal billions of dollars, we're going to kind of squash that until we need that. But if you act like you ever don't know, then we'll pull it out, and that looks like that's what's happened, because Drake didn't understand that there are rules to the game that shall never be broken. Where are the sages? Where are the masters? Where are the fathers? Where are the gatekeepers who can school you when you're going into a new game and say, this is the do's, this is the don'ts. This will destroy you forever. This will propel you to the top. And one of the things you never do, you never ever come here, because this is what we lack in this society. And there's a lot of people in this society, in this generation, who don't understand it. You never uncover. You never, ever uncover those who are responsible for your earnest success. If you have issues, now I'm not saying you don't have issues, but you deal with them case in point. There's an issue right now with, and I'm gonna call his name, with Pastor or Prophet Lovy. And there's been some pastor that he was prior friends with who's been going on all the social media blasting Prophet Lovy. Wait a minute, got a problem, you got a problem, you slept with Lovy. Lovy gave you money, Lovy. And now I'm not saying you don't have a problem with Lovy, but where you're dealing with the problem is not a part of the game. You don't bring what's done in private out in public to garner public sympathy. It just don't work. You're never, ever gonna win, because you really cannot be, because you really look like somebody that's scorned like that. You know what I'm saying? If it's done in private, then you try your best to deal with it in private. And if we're going to keep biblical principles, you bring a witness with you if you want. You understand what I'm saying? You can't be biblical in one sense and not be biblical all the way across the board. Like, subscribe, share, follow. So remember this, that somebody is sitting on everybody's stuff. Right? So you're not the only one, Drake, that's sitting on everybody. Puff, you're not the only one that's sitting. Somebody. But see, some people know how to cover and not expose. Love covers. But then there are those who, when they are losing, instead of covering, they want to expose because they do not understand the rules of the game. So as I sum this up on this Friday, make sure you like this. Make sure my summary of this whole Lessons in Power has been that there simply was a young man who got into a younger boy who got into a man's game, and he never was taught the rules of the game. He lost the game, and he pouted, and he pouted, and he pouted. And when nothing was done, he said, I'm going over their head, and I'm going to file a lawsuit against my own company. The company that gave me the millions to build the mansions, the company that gave me the money to drive the cars, the company that bought my private plane, the company that put me on Spotify and put me on iHeart labels a year ago, that you couldn't even listen to a song and the next song was Drake, no matter how long you listen. That same company. And my synopsis is, because of spiritual law and Drake's lack of money against Universal, that Drake will lose and Drake will go down in infamy. That's my opinion. I want you to like, I want you to subscribe, I want you to share, I want you to follow, I want your comments. Listen, we start something new next week. All of my spiritual classes will be in my Patreon. You can go over to the website to get more information, www.wakeupglobalnetworks.com. Don't forget, join me on April 20th, high noon, Resurrection Realities or Resurrection Fallacies. I hope this Lessons in Power has been a blessing to you, enhance you. We had fun. I know we had fun. But more importantly, that we increased in knowledge, wisdom, and becoming masters at playing this game called power. Again, Sunday morning at 7 o'clock, the Voice of Hope Connection. I want to thank you for all of your liberality. I want to thank you for all of your support. I want to thank you for all that you do for Wake Up Global Networks and myself. And until Sunday morning, this is D. Foster III saying that you have a voice. Keep lifting it. Peace.
Thank you for being a part of The Voiceover. Please follow us on all of our social media platforms to stay connected to our upcoming shows and guests. Instagram at The Voiceover Radio. Twitter at DPropheticI. That's the letter D, prophetic, EYE. If this show has enriched you in any way, please share The Voiceover among your circle. Until next time, keep allowing your voice to be heard.